Welcome to the Speak the Language podcast presented by OnX Hunt. Today is, well, when this episode comes out, it is going to be the 1st of February, which means folks like myself, folks like Jordan, who's sitting across from me. Jordan, you and I have probably been thinking about spring turkeys for a while.
So, 2 nights ago, I decided I was done doing anything duck or deer related. So I spent 4 hours cleaning all my stuff, putting all my clothes up, it just scattered everywhere, and unhooked my turkey vest from the wall. And I actually yelped on a yelper. So, it is time.
And
I just, also, we talked about this last year and the year before, I ordered another gun.
Oh, did you? That's funny, man. No, we do this year after year, and there was times I can remember you and I sitting in the Cottonmouth camp house, and it would be like the second week in January, and we'd be like, is it too early to put a turkey podcast out? Mm-hmm. And we would be like, you know what? You just got to recognize to some degree that there are some people that listen to this show that aren't as fanatical about it or obsessed, whatever you want to call it. But I deem it worthy to, the second it cracks February, we can talk about it, and no one can give us any grief.
No.
That's what I mean.
Honestly, turkey season opens this month, I think, in Florida for youth season. So yeah, it is the month of turkey.
Just trying to keep up with the seasons. Couple of things that are worth mentioning before we go down any rabbit holes is that I talk about OnX Hunt on here a lot, but one of the things that we don't talk about that should be brought up is the master classes that OnX Hunt puts on. If you haven't checked one of those out, the OnX Hunt Master Class, it is a live web-based class, and we're having some two for sure really good ones that we're going to do this month. One's going to be with Dr. Mike Chamberlain, who you know, and that one's going to be, obviously, if you're familiar with Dr. Chamberlain and his work, he goes by Wild Turkey Doc on Instagram. He is pretty much seen as like the resource for turkey knowledge these days, especially when it comes to biology. And, you know, it's no secret everyone's concerned about turkey numbers and all that. So that's going to be we're kind of doing I think the name of the master class is called like the State of the Wild Turkey. And so that's going to be a great one. And then also, I think on February the 28th, there's going to be a master class with Rob Roberts, Custom Gun Works. Okay. He's going to be walking through the patterning process of a shotgun, which as much as you and I and a lot of folks that we know have talked about it, I'm sure that there's people out there still, some folks are probably listening to this podcast that have never really sat down and patterned their gun.
Yeah.
And so that's going to be really informative. We're trying to, the way we're wanting to do it right now is he's actually going to be shooting a gun on the video, walking through the process. This is what I'm looking for. This is why it's good. This is why it's not good. So that'll be really cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. There's always things to learn and that stuff. I learn new things every year. I mean, talking about turkey guns, I don't know. Everybody shoots a rifle just about every year, right? Getting ready for deer season. Or there's shotgun if they in a slug state or muzzleloader or whatever. Well, why don't you do it with your turkey gun? Same process, because I promise you it's so easy today to miss especially when they're like 40 and in.
Oh, I can tell you all about how easy it is to miss.
And another thing that's helped me out so much, I know we're chasing rabbits, but that's what we're here for.
Yeah.
Is actually having a sight on the gun, like whether it's rifle sights or red dot, whatever. It makes a world of difference. And there's still people that are that old school mentality, you know, I'm going to shoot them with a bead or whatever. But in my mind, it's just, you're getting more accurate, especially with today's stuff like loads and chokes and all that. Like, that's pretty much a necessity now.
I shot a shotgun with a bear bead for a long time.
I did
too. A lot of people did. Yeah. Just because, that's essentially, rifle sights on a turkey gun have been around for a while, but that never really got as popular as like your red dots now or anything like that. But, and I had a lot of success with a bear bead. I had a lot of failure with the bear bead.
Yeah.
But ever since I made that move to putting an optic on my gun, I haven't backed away from it. It's helped me a running ton.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, it's coming up. It's getting here. I done. We started planning turkey hunts 2 months ago, trying to figure it all out.
The other thing, I got it before we go any further. We are making. So last year we did our first live event in Starkville at Rick's Cafe. Mm-hmm. We are doing the same thing again this year. We're going to return to Rick's Cafe on February the 28th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Spring Legion boys will be there. I mean, it'll be pretty much a re-rack of what we did last year. I'm going to try to make it as fun as it was last year, give away some cool stuff. We'll have some Onyx Hunt free membership cards, like the yearly free membership things. I know we'll have that to give away. There'll be some Spring Legion stuff, but that'll be a good time. Had a lot of fun last year when we did that.
Yeah, it was a good time. It was good to see everybody out there. It surprised me, I thought we had your mama.
And your dad.
My dad was on our listeners there for a while and a couple other friends, but
yeah,
it's really humbling to see how much people have enjoyed listening to this, I guess. I guess they enjoyed. I don't know.
I would assume so.
Awfully bored.
Yeah. But yeah, I remember that last year as well. We scheduled that live event thing, and I started to I didn't get nervous about doing the podcast per se. I got nervous about, I was like, man, I really have no clue how many people are going to show up to this.
No.
And so that's what we're planning on doing this year. We had such fun with it and such good success. So if you are in the Starkville area, if you're not in the Starkville area, there's people that traveled there last year. But same thing, Rick's Cafe, Starkville, Mississippi, February 28th from 6 to 8 p.m. Come out, hang out. It's going to be a good time.
I'll try to make it.
You'll try to make it. Cool. Yeah, back to what you were saying, turkey hunt planning has been happening a very, very long time.
I got a little carried away. So you made a boo-boo showing me that thing on Onyx that reminds you of hunts.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
Dude.
Things be sending me text messages saying you need to apply for this.
All right.
I'm like, okay, I'm going to go apply for this.
So I got introduced to that, and it's a deal called Hunt Reminder. Mm-hmm. And for the folks that don't know, and I may be speaking out of turn here. I think what that mainly has been used for is like Western big game stuff, like applications or like Iowa deer tags. I don't think it was made as much for the turkey hunter, but it might. I mean, that has completely changed the way I look at things, because you go in there to Hunt Reminder. If you're an Onyx Elite member, it's free, by the way, but you go in there and you basically build a profile and you say, I want to apply for this, I want to apply for this, and it will send you can set up how persistent you want it to be. But yeah, you get reminder text messages, because I've missed more deadlines than I care to admit, because I keep going, I'll remember to do that, and
You're
then I just don't.
You're the only person I've met that forgot to put in for your Iowa deer points 2 years in a row.
Yeah, I did do that. But yeah, I mean, it tells you hey, the deadline for this, this is coming up, and it's changed the whole game. I've already applied for stuff this year that I never have before. So that's a super cool feature. Yeah. But you got into it and set yourself a profile up and everything.
It sends me text messages when stuff's starting opening to apply, and then when it's about to close to remind you again. So. Mm-hmm. It's been pretty good. I've put in for some tags I've been meaning to for the last couple of years, and see how it goes.
Yeah. I think, this is going to be a different spring. I know, you and I will do South Florida. I know that. Mm-hmm. But other than that, it's going to be a lot different than it has in past years, just because the changes and things and all that. But I'm looking forward to it.
One thing's for sure. Ain't nothing going to change about me turkey hunting. I'm still going to be going.
Well, yeah. No, I ain't talking about that. I'm just it's just different. You know what I mean? It's different.
Yep. I got a couple solo hunts going rogue, and hunts with buddies and you, and I don't consider you my buddy, but you're just you. What else we got going? Going to Iowa, hunt with Tommy again. That's one thing that hadn't changed.
So, no, that hadn't changed. Well, some things have changed about it.
Yeah.
So, this is a story all in itself. I have wanted and tried to get my dad and my older brother, a turkey. It's been, I don't know how many years
4 or
long.
5 years now.
But one thing too important to outline about that is like, in the process of me doing that was in the middle of me being fully engrossed in filming for Primos and running around doing it. So it has been 4 or 5 springs in a row, but like
one day of spring.
yeah, it'd be like maybe 2 Saturdays in the whole spring season. I take my dad, or maybe 1 spring or 2 springs I take my brother. It's just like fitting it where I can get it with the middle of all the work stuff we had going on. And it's all been at home here in Mississippi. Mm-hmm. Over the course of that, and Pop, Brett, I know you are going to listen to this, so forgive me. I'm just slating it out like it was. Over the course of those times, my dad missed a turkey, and then last year my brother missed a turkey, and like there's no shame in that. I mean, if I counted up how many turkeys I'd missed, we'd be on this podcast for 3 hours. So I mean, it just is what it is. So I was like, man, this year I'm going to be more flexible than I have been in the past 9 years, literally. Everyone, I mean, life does a lot of things, but life doesn't get less busy.
Yeah.
So I was like, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it. So I reached out to Pop and Brett, and I said, hey, let's go to Iowa. So granted, they got to draw tags, but both of them are applied for the draw. And we're going to go up there and try to get it done, just because it will be like however many, 3 or 4 days, however long it is, dedicated, like trying to get them a turkey instead of like sporadic here and there and hunting these super hard-headed turkeys we have to deal with down here. Mm-hmm. And so I'm very excited about that.
Be good. That's gonna be fun. Hope we'll get drawn.
Yeah, you and me both. I mean, just because, you know what I mean? I mean, like, Brett got engaged recently too. So I mean, like, his days of being, I mean, you know how it goes. And once you get married, you can't just like float around like a free bird. You got something, you know how it goes. It's like, man, if I'm going to take him somewhere, this is probably going to be the easiest year I have to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So
I kind of floated around like a free bird until I had a kid.
Yeah, well, yeah, true. You float around like a free bird now.
I still do.
But yeah, no, I'm very, very excited about that. And I mean, like, neither of them have ever killed a turkey, just because that's the whole story. Like Pop.
Yeah, I mean, if I was going, other than going out west somewhere where, you know, hunting some other turkey breeds. Yeah. You know, it's a special place to me. It's still the pinnacle of Eastern wild turkey hunting because it's very limited.
Yeah. And we talk, like, a lot of folks, not a lot, but definitely heard a few people, they'll complain about the price of a tag up there, which, I mean, it's expensive for sure.
I'll tell you this will be the 6th year I think we've been going there. Mm-hmm. And it's still, every year, it blows my mind, like the amount of turkeys you'll hear on a good morning.
Yeah.
And it's why, because it's a limited deal and the price is higher for the demand. I mean, that just makes sense in my mind. I would rather pay $150 more for that experience.
Yeah. I mean, yes, without getting into
not even thinking twice about it, but just because it's a better experience. It's not better, but you kind of get a glimpse into the past.
I think. I mean, and honestly, I don't know if I've ever had any real conversations with anyone at the Iowa DNR, but I think their mindset in doing that, I think their thoughts are definitely in the right place.
It's the same way with their deer. I mean, by the time you put in for points and finally draw a tag, you've got $1,000, $1,200 invested in a whitetail tag.
Yeah.
But it's premier hunting, you know. So you pay for what you get.
Yeah. So and we thought about other states, and like I said, I thought about doing, you know, like the Rio thing, like just going somewhere in Oklahoma or Texas, and I don't know. I just was like, I want it to be an Eastern. Mm-hmm. Just personal preference. I mean, I'm not throwing shade at anybody that lives in Rio State. I'll continue to hunt Rios as long as I can. But
I'm gonna hunt them this year.
Yeah, I mean, well, I don't know if I am. I might. I
am.
Sure.
I don't know what you're doing.
I don't know if I don't know. Maybe.
Where are you going? You don't know yet?
It's
I know Florida and Iowa.
Florida, Iowa, Mississippi, Alabama. Montana, Wyoming, and South Dakota are somewhere in the mix. It's kind of nothing's not too many things nailed down.
Gotcha.
But it's like
pretty good little run.
Decent.
You need to add about 6 more to that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it just don't. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's just like I just don't know if anywhere I would go would have Rios on the docket. I'm not against it. I just don't know if that's where it would take me.
Well, if you're are you driving or flying to Montana?
If I have my rathers, I'm driving.
Well, then you going through Rio country.
I suppose that's true.
You're going through a bunch of it.
On the way there or back. Yep. But it's just, I guess, not as much emphasis on those because I've pretty much hit all those states plenty of times.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Iowa's great, and I don't know, where are you going?
Oh, Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, probably going to Louisiana a couple times, and Arkansas. If I can, I'm gonna go to Georgia. That's like, it's not super like high on the priority list, but I'm gonna go. Going to Tennessee. I still got to kill a turkey there. Like, it's been the worst luck state I've ever had.
I've never hunted in Tennessee. Every time I've been to Tennessee, I was filming you.
Yeah. So, and that didn't work out too well.
So I haven't killed one in Tennessee either.
So that does it for the Southeast, and then the Iowa thing, and then from Iowa I'm going straight to Nebraska, because I've hunted in Nebraska several times, but I've never actually hunted, like carried a gun. Like, I've filmed there. So from Nebraska, Austin's going to ride back from there back to here. We're probably going to stop in Kansas and hunt there because he's trying to go after his slam this year. And so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'd gladly stop there and hunt a few days.
I mean, if you're there, why not?
And it's on the way back from Nebraska. So from Kansas, I'm toying going to Oregon and California. So I don't know yet on that, but that's kind of what first part of May-ish. I think California has a weird season. They kind of close earlier than everybody else.
Yeah, they do, and they open earlier than you would think.
Yeah, so I don't know if that's going to work or not, but definitely probably going to go to Oregon or Utah, maybe hit both them states up if it works out. And that'll kind of end the first part of May there. And then probably the later part of May, head to the northeast somewhere. And I'm toying around if I have enough time too, in between Iowa and Nebraska. Depends on what happens in Iowa. Thought about going to Minnesota, then going to Nebraska.
Yeah. I hadn't been to
like 3 hours from where we're hunting.
I hadn't been to Minnesota since we went up there with Ben.
So there's a lot of ifs in my schedule, but that's kind of what I have in my mind about doing. It's going to be busy if I do all that.
Yeah, it is. Spring, yeah, okay, California turkey season, it says it's only 2 weeks. Unless I'm looking at a different zone. I'm looking at here, says March 18th through the 19th. No, that's junior. It says May 1st through May the 14th. Seems quick.
The regular season, I thought it's in April. Or it was, unless they changed it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to do my impression of young Jamie and look it up while we're talking. I may not be doing good. California has been something I wanted to do for a while. Oregon looks really cool. I just don't know. Like, I'm kind of leaving a bunch of it open-ended on purpose because, like I said, I've never had the flexibility that I'm going to have this spring.
Yeah. I don't have any of that nailed down other than Florida, Alabama, here in Arkansas, and Iowa and Nebraska. That's kind of what I've got nailed down right now. And the Arkansas deal is probably going to be like hit there on the way to Iowa like I did last year.
Yeah.
So we'll see. That's going to be a pretty good little run there. It's going to be like 10, 12 days.
Yeah, it's a lot.
So
how does Jesse tolerate you?
I'll just try to behave the rest of the year. That's why I'm not duck hunting right now.
I do have, So I'll just run this past you on air. I was thinking about because right now we're just kind of airing out general turkey thoughts, getting it out of our system. But as it goes forward, I'm going to get more structured with turkey topics and whatnot. So I had this idea. I was like, man, you know what would be genuinely funny is to hear both your wife and my wife from their perspective without allowing us to interrupt until after, but let them give their countenance of what happened in their first experiences turkey hunting.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because, I have not told, Lacey went turkey hunting with me for the first time last year. You've heard that story. There's very small number.
You did her so dirty.
We can't get into that. Well, we can't get into that. That's what I'm saying. We can, but I'm going to see if it would be really funny to get her and Jesse on here at the same time and let them give the version of it. Because I've heard her, when I took her duck hunting at Jared's place this past weekend, and she very happily gave her rendition of the story to Jared without me bringing it up. But I was like, I wonder if she'd do that on the podcast.
It'd be pretty funny. Pretty dang funny. Jesse's first turkey hunting experience was similar. It was wild.
Well, she got one eventually. Lacey still, because like I said, that's another objective I have this spring because of what happened last spring. I was told very sharply that you have to fix that this spring. I was like, well, I'll try my best. I just got to see.
Yep.
Tis what it is.
This is your first spring as a married man too.
I don't know. Yeah.
You look, here's what you have to do. You got to set the tone early and just go do your normal thing. That way you don't tread on water the first spring, and then it's to be expected after that.
It's just like what you do.
Because if you behave this spring, you're expected to behave next spring. This is my marriage advice for being a turkey hunter.
Yeah. Here's the funny thing about this, and here's why I'm not just full, because my wife listens to this show, my in-laws listen to this show, my parents listen to this show, so I'm just kind of nodding and staying neutral. But I
I'm not meaning it in a bad way.
I hear what you say, and I'm comprehending it, and I am receiving the words that you're saying, and I'm processing them in my brain. And I will let you know what I think about that.
I'm 7 years deep, dog. 7 years deep.
It's crazy to think, because every year when turkey season ends, I'm like, we got to wait a whole nother year before we get to do this again. And we look up, and it's February, and it's almost time. We got NWTFs in 2 weeks?
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. Are you coming to NWTF?
Mm-hmm. I'm for 1 day.
For 1 day.
Say hello. Bye-bye. See everybody.
That's it?
Yeah. Well, I'm coming up on Friday and staying all day Saturday and leaving Sunday.
I got you. Yeah.
So we get two dinners.
Yeah. I'll be at the, we'll be up there with the Onyx crew.
Y'all got a booth? Or are you just going to be walking around last year?
No, we got a booth. We're if I remember correctly, we're tied in with the Mossy Oak booth.
Okay, cool.
So it'll be different. It'll be
give me some camo.
You don't have enough bottomland.
Can never have enough.
Yeah. No, man. So yeah, that'll be fun. Looking forward to seeing everybody there. Then as soon as that's over, then we got the live podcast deal, and then next thing you know, we'll be in Florida.
Yeah, I think what day we leaving on Florida? Let me look. I've done it grown up and got a calendar. I think we're leaving on the 8th.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, March the 8th and hunting through the 12th.
Leaving on the 8th, or we're hunting on the 8th?
Either one. Leaving on 7th, 8th, something like that.
I got you. That'll be a fun deal.
Also, you got to think about all the other stuff that goes along with turkey hunting.
Like what?
Like getting your truck cleaned up, getting all your face masks together, getting all your gloves together, figuring out what calls are still workable, what new calls you got to get. It's a whole list of stuff we got to go through in the next couple of weeks.
Oh, yeah. I have a terrible habit of...
Have you found a place to turkey hunt here in Mississippi yet?
No.
Me either. So...
The National Forest.
I need to talk about this for a second, because a lot of people can probably relate. So I had 2 places that me and you both could hunt that we're planning on hunting in the spring, and they sold.
Mm-hmm. That's disappointing.
So, right now we got National Forest, and I joined a deer camp like 3 hours from my house just to have somewhere to go.
Well, talk about this and that. So, like, one of the biggest, and I don't think we ever talked about this specifically. One of the biggest misconceptions that everybody got is like friends of mine is people that knew me well. They just assumed that I had all these incredible hookups to all these turkey places.
That don't happen in turkey world.
Mm-mm.
You got to fight for what you get.
Well, and it's true. It's like, and don't mean like with Primos, you and I both have gotten to hunt some pretty incredible places.
Yeah.
I have no argument there. But as far as like here at home, if I'm like just going hunting for the sake of going hunting because I want to and not
a place to take Lacey or a place to take Jesse or whatever.
Yeah.
That's like, we ain't got it.
I have, as it sits right now, I have access to a 40-acre block that is turkey huntable, but that is the piece of private ground that I have access to. I don't own it. I have permission to hunt it sporadically. Other than that, it's going to be public ground or national forest. Like, that's where I have to go.
I got 70 acres, so I got you beat.
Nice.
But it's fitting to sell too.
And it's the same kind of deal, man. It's like I was planning on having some spots leased this year because I wanted some private ground to hunt.
I've been looking. I've been turning over rocks, and I can't find nothing close. I mean, I'm in that camp up in Webster County, Mississippi. Yeah. But that's something I got to go for a weekend.
Yeah. Yeah, I have I have nothing nearby.
So it be's a national forest, which ain't nothing wrong with that. No, been hunting it for years.
And like to adjust I don't want the tone. Like, I'm not trying to come across as like, oh, poor me, I don't have it. Like, I'll hunt the national forest. I've done that my whole life. Yeah. It's just like, don't think that I have all these spots just popping up out of the ground. One of the best spots I had was that lease you and I hunted a few years ago. I lost that lease.
Yeah. Last year I killed one turkey here in Mississippi on that 70 acres. Mm-hmm. And then the other ones were on national forest. Mm-hmm. Like, people always like, man, you don't take me turkey hunting? You don't take me turkey? Yeah, I'll go with you.
Yeah. And I did misspeak a little bit. I still can hunt sporadically, like the place where Brett missed that turkey last year. Yeah. I can go there from time to time.
Okay.
Which is, I mean, and that's an awesome place, but it's not like I can't just run down there and there's not turkeys just popping up out of the ground. It's an awesome place, but like that would be a place where I would want to take Brett or Lacey, something like that. But yeah, and like I said, it just kind of is what it is. It's hard down here. You got to work. You got to work for what you get. You got to
sure do. You got to go fight for it and throw out some dollar bills if you want some private leases.
Speaking about public land, did I tell you about what happened to me? This was when I spent the night out there in my truck.
Somebody was running coon hounds or something, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. Good. I killed them coons.
Well, not during spring. So like we came back from Florida. You, me, and Jimmy.
Yeah, I went to Alabama that morning.
And I dropped Jimmy off at his house. And then I knew I wanted to hunt the next morning, and this was probably like late March at this time, mid to late March it would have to be.
It was the opening Saturday of Alabama, whenever that was.
So second week, second or
third week.
Okay.
Third weekend.
So I dropped Jimmy off, and I was like, I knew I wanted to go hunting. I was like, well, heck, I'm not going to go to my house to sleep 2 hours and then drive. I was like, I'm just going to sleep in my truck. And so drove out there, parked my truck, and I was pretty much where I wanted to be to start hunting the next morning. And I'm like asleep, and I get woken up by these headlights. And I turn around and look, and the dude drops out 2 like walker hounds and just turn. There they go, barreling off through the bottom. I'm planning on hunting the next morning.
Yeah, you're not supposed to run dogs during the spring, are you?
Mm-mm.
Huh. Mm-mm. Well.
Yeah. So I didn't hear anything there the next morning. I don't know why.
I don't either. Just heard of a coon dog.
I heard him that night because I saw it, and it was, I mean, this is like at 2 or 3 a.m. And I'm like, surely that dude's not. And about that time I was having that thought, and I'm like, well, better come up somewhere else.
Yeah. It's going to be a fun spring, and we're going to get into more depth and detail, I guess, as we go. And I am looking forward to the thing up there in Starkville. That's going to be fun, and getting to see everybody. And that weekend, last weekend of February, people starting to listen in the woods more and more. I mean, it's just exciting times.
Oh, yeah. That's like starting now is when the turkey hype begins.
Yep.
And like I said, today we just kind of rambling about turkeys. As it comes back, we'll get a little bit more dialed in on stuff. And of course, people were hitting us up already asking where the turkey episodes were. So as always, like I said, we can't get to all of them but the point I'm getting to is if you have questions or any of that kind of stuff, you can always send them in, and we'll look at it, and hopefully we'll get to it and go over it. But, yeah, it is February. Go ahead and let your mind drift to gobbling turkeys. It's time. It's time.
Get your gun pattern.
Yeah, do that. All right, boys, we're going to sign off on this conversation. I hope that y'all enjoyed it. As always, thank you so much for listening to the Speak the Language podcast presented by OnX Hunt.